He was convicted of corruption last year and sentenced to nearly 10 years in prison. But former President Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva is running for Brazil's top office again as he appeals the case. Brazilians are divided. He enjoys the support of many, but others say he doesn't deserve to return to the presidential palace.
What do I think? Yeah, Lula needs to be in jail. I think the Supreme Court is going to rule against him, and I want him to go to jail.
We're going to have to see what happens. I hope he's not locked up, because I think he's going to be the next president for a third term.
Brazil is in suspense. On the streets, it might look like just another day, but Wednesday's expected ruling in Lula's case from the country's top court is likely to affect everyone.
It could have a monumental impact in this October's elections. If the Supreme Federal Court rules against him, Lula could be jailed within the week. If it decides in his favor, he'll be free to continue his campaign for the presidency.
Lula is the frontrunner in the presidential election. The supporters of the former union leader see him as the champion of workers and the poor. But if he's jailed, it's likely to stymie his candidacy. Some say that's exactly the goal. Lula was convicted of accepting a beachside apartment from a company seeking government contracts. Lula and his supporters insist he's innocent. On Wednesday, the Supreme Federal Court will decide whether he will be jailed before he's exhausted his appeals. That has been the precedent in Brazilian courts. But according to human rights lawyer Prudente Melo, that's unconstitutional. He's been following Lula's case closely.
I think if the Supreme Federal Court does not grant Lula his freedom, it will be extremely dramatic for not just Lula, but Brazilian society as a whole, which expects the court to respect the Constitution. And I think that it's hard to guess what would happen in the country.
Massive protests are expected if Lula is jailed. Groups have been organizing under the banner "An election without Lula is fraud." But Lula's opponents are also hitting the streets in the lead up to the verdict. Their slogan, "Turn out or Lula's coming back." And while the court and the country is divided over the issue, the final verdict is anyone's guess. But the outcome could shape Brazil through October's elections and for many years to come. Michael Fox, TRT World, Florianópolis, Brazil.